Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We all like whispers here. You guys love whispers. So I have some new whispers for you. Some brand new whispers. These are particularly interesting because it would appear the peculiar fish is back. I don't know if you guys saw this. Yes, this peculiar fish. So this fish shows up in Hallowfall. You pick it up, and then it starts a quest line for you. The fish, of course. And then you find out that actually the fish isn't just a fish. The fish actually belongs to this bird, Ozumot, the patriarch of all kraken. The fish is a kraken, just about. It's a baby kraken, basically. It's why it's called a peculiar fish. Leviathan or kraken, either one is good. But you set off on a bit of a quest chain with this peculiar little fish. And here are some of the whispers. Just listen to this. It's pretty good. They are gone, but their blood remains. The blood remembers. Swim in these dark waters and be changed by them. No light shines in these depths. Dark blood rains from the false sky. It tastes of wars past and wars to come. This is an Abyss Whisperer. You do this quest for a peculiar fish, and every single time you catch one of these monstrosities in a trap, this voice from the deep comes at you, right? And it says these following lines to you. What I found very interesting about the lines, they are gone, but their blood remains. It talks about the old gods, right? The blood remembers. Now, this I found ridiculously interesting. We think of the old gods as dead. Like we should. We killed them. We literally killed them. But if you think about what old gods are, and if we go back and we look at even, for example, Yisaraj, who was ripped out of the planet, his heart alone had the ability to corrupt an entire land. Right? That is how much corruption exists within these creatures. So their blood remaining is like incredible. But then the blood remembering is even bigger. It suggests that it gives us insight into how the void relays information. So the blood remembering means that should the Void Lords arrive on Azeroth, they will touch the blood of their children and they will instantly know everything that happened here. They will instantly know our tactics and how we fight and everything of that nature. And then, of course, it speaks about the dark waters, and it suggests that the waters there are still corrupted. So even though the old gods are dead, the waters itself is filled with the blood of the old gods. Now, from our measurements, the only old god's blood that could potentially be anywhere near Hallowfall would be that of Cthulhu. Because all of the other old gods were way too far away to be anywhere near Hallowfall. So it has to be something to do with Cthulhu's blood specifically. I would say, Jordan, that's a good way of putting it. The blood almost acts like a scryer stone. So the blood remembers everything that had happened. That sort of makes you wonder about Saronite and the fact that we keep using the Saronite, to bullshit. And you start thinking, shit. Probably not the best idea to be using this blood, for your own shit, but whatever. It could, Lazarus, that's entirely possible. That it could be the blood of the fifth old god. The problem with that would be the fifth old god is not revealed, right? So where would that blood have come from? So the one from the mural, to me at least, looks like N'Zoth, because N'Zoth is considered to be the god of the deep. Every single one of the old gods have their own look, so to speak. Why would the fifth old god look almost exactly like N'Zoth? But this is why I brought up the location of Hallowfall and the blood only really being capable of referring to Cthulhu because of the location of Hallowfall. The problem is the mural shows N'Zoth. So this is where a real issue starts to emerge to us. N'Zoth, from what we could tell at least, wasn't anywhere near Hallowfall. And yet they have murals of N'Zoth. And clearly the Nerubians worshipped N'Zoth. But then, how is N'Zoth's blood in the waters of Hallowfall? And the false sky, someone asked about the false sky. Remember, Hallowfall doesn't have a skyline, not a real skyline. Hallowfall is just a giant cave. So they're referring to the false sky as in the cave roof being the false sky, and dark blood rains from the false sky, suggesting that when we killed the old gods, their blood must have filtered through the cave roof and into their waters to make them think, right? Or to make them realize what had transpired up there. Influenced by the blood of the old gods, that definitely falls in line with the story in the past. I think the mural is not N'Zoth, but the tentacle old god from the Time Rift, and was killed by the other four. It's possible, but how do you explain N'Zoth's tentacles? The Time Rift shows a time when it was not killed and took over. The crystal might still be an old god prison, it turning void. So, Lazarus, I don't know if you were here, but I actually think that the fifth old god lies outside of our sphere of influence, or the Titan sphere of influence. But I spoke about that at the beginning of the stream. I used paint to really show what I think. I think there is a fifth old god, but I don't think that old god is dead. In fact, I think that old god was so powerful that the Titans couldn't stop or even imprison that old god. And so the Titans just decided to exclude that old god from their specific slice of heaven. The crystal might still be an old god prison. It turning void might be a sign of the chains weakening. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to the crystal. So the dark blood rains from the false sky. It tastes of wars past and wars to come. Very interesting. So the ability for the old gods to see the future lies in their blood. Or at least it's an ability that can be passed on through their blood. And then we get to another bit of voices. Another few whispers. The peculiar fish this time whispers to us. And it says to us after we do all of its quests, it says, "Our cooperation is at an end. Now I return to the sea, beneath the sea, away from this accursed star. Bring its light to our depths, and we shall be your crushing end." What star do you guys think they're referring to? Could it be the thing that is stuck in the roof of the cave? Because it would appear as if these Kraken, Leviathans, view that crystal as a star, not as a crystal. Now, before anyone thinks the sea beneath the sea means something, Hallowfall has its own sea, but Hallowfall is a cave. Therefore, that would be a sea beneath the sea. Because it's a separate sea, sort of like, dude, I don't know how exactly the mechanics of this cave system works, because it looks fucking gigantic, and yet it's under the ocean of Azeroth, and yet still so like what? Where do you get the space? Where do you get the space? How does this even work? No one knows. It is what it is. It would have to be in the cave because it's never seen above ground. Yeah, it only ever talks about Hallowfall, right? And the things that happened within Hallowfall. Hollow Azeroth could be a possibility. And then the fish ends by saying, "Let us not meet again. The thought of your drowned corpse displeases me." It's kind of a nice thing, if you think about it. For a creature that basically hates humans, this peculiar fish seems to not hate us. Which now makes it almost every single void creature we have ever met didn't hate us. And people still think the void is evil. But every single time we meet a void creature, that void creature does not hate us. It wants to use us. It wants to work with us. It sometimes wants, like this peculiar fish, to avoid us. But none of them wants to kill us or wants to destroy us. Wasn't there a thing that Void at one point stopped seeing as enemies but started seeing us as friends? Ashiel, there was a whisper. I think we spoke about it last week, where it's the whisper was something about we are enemies for now. Something to that effect. It said something like, we are enemies at least for now. But that, I mean, for now suggests that we are not permanent enemies. Right? We are not permanent enemies. Z Vengeance, so I should add, I do reject Cthulhu's voice lines on the basis of this was very early World of Warcraft. And since then, we've had quite a lot of interactions with the Void. And N'Zoth, time and time again, testing us. Not trying to kill us, testing us. Literally, there are bosses that tell us that he's testing us. N'Zoth doesn't seem to be upset about the fact that he dies. Yogg-Saron doesn't seem to be upset about the fact that we kill him. Even Cthulhu doesn't seem to be upset at all that we kill him. So fundamentally, there's enough evidence at least that the Void, Xal'atath, doesn't want to kill us. So there's enough evidence at least to suggest that the Void has a bigger goal, and their goal doesn't necessarily include the end of all mortals, if that makes sense.